Hello, good afternoon. Welcome again to PAP TV. And once again, we have a very distinguished guest with us to deliberate on matters in relation to gender. We are privileged to have with us Honorable Mariam Dao Gabala, from Côte d'Ivoire. Yes. Honorable, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Honorable, can you give us a highlight of your presentation to plenary today?
Okay, today I did present on two major issues. The first one is the political and legal framework for a model law on gender equality and equity in Africa. And the second was a report on a seminar on families. How can we strengthen families through African values for the citizen to really be able to participate to the development of the continent. For the legal framework of on gender equality and equity, let me just highlight that yes, we have some development, in many countries, but they are very, very slow. And if we continue on this trend, it will take us 400 years. It means 4 centuries before we really get to equality and equity. And I think African women cannot wait and stand for that. Secondly, when we talk about gender equality and equity, it's not a question of fashion, because women are competent, women have skills, and we need those skills to build our nation at all levels. Political, economical, social. We need women to participate to, the development of the country. So it is not fair to have women with skills and only count on men. So if we want our continent also to really speed up its development, we need also to include women. That's the first point. The second point is that women are those who can better speak out the aspiration of women, and particularly the aspiration of rural women, of women, let's say, senior citizen, etc. So it's a democratic question, the participation of women on the development of our country. It's a democratic question. We need, as citizens also, to be part and to not only to be beneficiaries of the development, but to be actors of the development of our countries. So looking at all the rules and treaty that exist in the continent, at the regional level, national level, we did realize that at the African level we have the Maputo Protocol on women's rights. But we also realize that even if countries have signed, we have a lot of reserves, from countries. I think this reserve is related to the cultural value of in those countries. So we shouldn't, let's say, impose something. We should have something that's also can be fashionable, according to the culture. So realizing this model law on gender equality, it allows us to take on board the reserve and to let's say, correct what should be correct on the Maputo Protocol. And we do think that if we have a model law that can be adapt in each country, it will foster, the participation on women. So we look at, all the treaty existing. We went to see some countries where they are advanced in that subject, but we also realize a workshop where we listen to women, civil society, parliamentarian, for them to tell us what they think is important to be right, in that model law. And we came out with 17 themes that should be in. And I think on the debate in the parliament, some of them also came out. So we are going to look at it on this sense. But it's very, very important that each country, when trying to push participation of women or gender equality, that we are all aligned, so that we move all together and faster to realize, the Agenda 2063 of the African Union. So that was, the first part. I want to highlight that we didn't sit in our, offices to write it. We went to Lusaka, we went to Accra, we went to N'Djamena, and lastly, in Kenya, in Nairobi. So we made large consultation of the population, civil society, parliamentarians, so that young people also, so that I think now we are ready to move on the writing of this model law.
I mean, congratulations to your committee for that yeoman's job. But then the other aspect of laws like this has to do with the implementation. So does your committee have any plans to work with national parliaments, to work with the member states to ensure that at least they are domesticating it within their system?
That was one of the biggest points that was highlighted during the discussion. It's very good to write up model law, but it's even better to have funds and have a program, to educate citizens and also, how you say, plaidoyer, advocate, in national parliament. And I think we need to do that, When I was happy to tell to the assembly that the protocol on people with disability is now enforced. After Congo has ratified, it make it 15 countries. It's a very good step, but now we need to fight for its domestication. So we are really aware that the second part is as important as the first part. So if we don't want to wait 400 years, we need to put emphasis on, the domestication, of this model law.
Well, but I think there is a third angle that is also equally important. Yeah. That is funding.
Yes.
That is funding.
Yes.
Do you have the necessary funding to do that?
I think we're going to look after funding. But what is... I don't know how to say it. It's... let's say it's... In the English I know. It's a pity that we have such program to help African countries to have some kind of standardized laws that will foster their own development. And we have to go and look after funding. And when it's come to some subject like families or etc., but you will agree with me that the person who fund would like you to promote its values, while we want to really promote African values. So this is a quite sticky point, but we are aware of it. But hopefully we can also work with some institutions, some CSOs that are really supportive on what we do, and like ADA, thanks to them. But financing is the main issue.
Yeah, and so what would be your message to the head of states of the African Union? I mean, this is a major agenda, and if you have a message to them to help in terms of the funding, what would be that message?
My message will be that at the Pan-African Parliament, we represent African people. Because we have been elected in our own countries, it means that we are close to these people. And if we take our time to come here to develop model law, we develop it in the sense that we want the economy of our countries also to grow. So they should be more supportive on what we do. When we talk about gender, gender is very, very important. It is admitted that when you have, the more you have women in your leadership, the most peaceful and the most excellent you are in the governance. So why should they not look at these good ways, okay, to lead, their country? The other point is that if you look at how women struggle in our countries, is it in rural area? Is it in the informal sector? If ever we have a positive view on them and we help them to formalize a little bit what they are doing, or we take into account what they are doing, I think what we call our GDP, etc., it will explode. Because it is where it is now, because women's works are not taken into account. We should take it into account. We should have our own way of defining the GDP, taking into account all these informal sectors, work and results. We cannot ignore them. In Africa, they are almost 80% of our economy. How can we ignore them in calculating our GDP or etc.? No, we need to do something about it. And women are those who are the most involved, in this sector. So they really deserve that they became a kind of priority for our government. Secondly, if you look at in Africa, women, even if it is in the rural area, women are those who really hold our families, and families are very important. We all wish to have a strong Africa tomorrow. How can we have a strong Africa if we don't have strong leaders or strong citizens? But where are those citizens built up? They are built up in families, through values, through education, on life. So we are losing a lot of our, productive force because we are not focusing on families where they are built up in such a way that when they grew up, when they are professional, they still lack a lot of things. Sense of responsibility, sense of services, integrity, but all these are first of all built up inside the family. So family is very important. I'm not talking about family like European or see it. I'm looking at family the way Africans sees it. Because, let you give you my example. I am the elder of a 22 children, family with 22 children. Can you imagine? So I'm not talking about only those, from my mother, but they are all, my sister. And if I look at how I relate, with my nephews, they don't call me auntie, they call me mom. Because if they are doing something wrong, I have the right to tell them this is wrong. You understand? And this is how we build up our families, and we shouldn't lose it. And you know why? Because look at the way we are living now. Both of parents are working. There is nobody to educate the kids. You understand? While if you have a family view, you make it easier, for the children to grow up, in a community, and we shouldn't lose that. Our aim really in this committee is really to come back to our values, because those values are our identity, and if they can help us, build up the continent, why shouldn't we work on it? You can never be a better copy. You still are a copy, but you are yourself, and yourself with your culture. So being a copy of another culture did not push us, very far. So let us be ourselves and contribute to the development of the entire humanity work as we are. And this is what we are pushing through our committee.
Thank you, Honorable, for your presence today in our interview. And you heard it all. You can only be a better version of yourself and not another person. And the committee is promoting African values. See you next time on PAP TV. Bye.